welcome back with us for the last series of the day you've been all waiting for. It's gonna be France, Italy. And you know what? I have a part of Italia here. I have pasta. And you know what France gonna do? We're gonna eat you up.
Okay, that actually worked. Like eating those raviolis to start off this segment, this pre-game segment. We're all excited. Particularly, I am excited, but I'm also rather scared. I'm sorry, guys. I just don't see the classic 4-0 that we always give out to those teams in the round of 32. We did that against Vietnam last year. Italy is a different beast.
Not everyone can be the USA.
Yeah, that's right. We all try to be, but we're not. Well, actually, France is trying to not be the USA in a way, but yeah, we can't always be like as good as Neep,
Really, it's a tall order, So,
yeah, it is.
I'm worried for you guys as well.
Yes.
Cheering for France. You guys treat me well over here.
Okay.
Gaming's awesome, whatnot. But Rainer's pretty good.
Well, that's the story of this game, right, Ajin? I mean, it's just like Rainer. Like, I don't want to scoff at the other players, but like the real like difficulty in this matchup is gonna be to beat Rainer twice. And we talked about it. Everybody's talking about it on Twitter, on the interwebs in general. It's like, who can beat Rainer twice? You look at the team, you're like, every single player could take a game, but in a best-of-1 matchup twice in a row, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I agree on this. Like Rainer has been really amazing recently. I mean, at the WSG, he was second in his group.
Yeah.
He beat a special
3-0.
And that's really like a good sign, Like, I mean, maybe like the versus Terran matchup is particularly good for him, but it's actually just a good sign overall that he's performing better and better.
He's been getting in better and better. I think we can take a look at the team profiles. Which one do we start with?
France, of course.
The French one, apparently.
Yeah. So we have Clem, Stefano, and DNS for France, La France.
La France. And fun fact about France, we're awesome. We're awesome.
That is a very fun fact.
We've got amazing players on StarCraft. We had this amazing player in the foreign scene in Stefano, even though he's not at that same level anymore, he's still a potential threat. And interestingly enough, as I hear the Marseillaise going on the opposite side of the wall where the French stream is, which is the national anthem of France, in case you guys don't know, funny thing is, Clem is the captain. Stefano, with all his experience and all his bagou, as we say in French, like his capacity of, talking trash, but also being funny at the same time. No, we put Clem under the spotlight.
That's honestly surprising. I don't think I've really heard him talk that much. I mean, I think of like interviews that he might have had.
It doesn't really sound like a child anymore.
Well,
like his voice changed
that's
recently.
That's something, I don't know, his profile picture is not so far off, it feels, from his Wikipedia one, where I think he was 12?
Yeah.
I think it was.
But
he's older.
Grow up a little
He's
bit.
older.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
gonna be 16 this year, right?
Yeah, exactly. In a couple of weeks, I believe. I think in early April, he will be able to play in the WCS system because he will be...
Yes.
Well, we have actually his birthday. So, yeah, it's 8th of April. But yeah, I think it's a really good team. I also believe that Drogo could have been part of this team. That's always the same question with France and those nations that have a deep lineup is, who do you choose from? Do you really have to go with like the experience of Stefano, even though he's been performing quite bad in the last NationWars? You also want DNS because he's arguably the best French player these days.
Right.
You still have like the Clem hype, but also if you look at the MMR of Drogo, he's also the highest ranked player in France, but he's not part of the team. It's always a tough decision, but I do think that this lineup can do pretty well in this NationWars. I will not go as far as making top 4, but I think top 8 is... Like, if Stefano can win a game, it's going to be tough. And I know he's going to hate me for that.
I was going to say,
we can make top 8. We can make top 8, I think.
I believe it. I think their team is a good one that kind of supports each other, Like, maybe you don't have the supreme ace that will always win, but you do have a lot of solid...
You mean Marie Lord, basically.
Obviously.
Oh,
yeah, obviously.
We miss you, man.
But like to make to round 8 of 8, they'll have to go through this round and they have to beat Italy with Rainer as captain.
Yeah. So
okay. They intentionally set this up beforehand, so it's like the two They're both 16 or maybe 117.
Yeah, he's gonna be 16 this year as well.
Okay,
Like
both
Raynor
16-year-olds.
and they are similar in many ways. Like they've been performing ever since they were like super young, like 12, 13 years old. Even though they don't play the same race. I mean, Clem used to play like every single race. Now he fixed himself on Terran, like he selected Terran. But yeah, Raynor plays Zerg, but those are, you know, basically the same player. They've got the same progression in general, like they went into the same stages, and now they're finally, as they are able to compete in WCS, looking like super solid, super crisp players.
Yeah. But this is a team where it is about more of that ace player, unlike the French team. But not to just take away everything from the other two guys here. I don't know much about Mianona. This is how you would say it. I don't know much about him at all.
Yeah.
But Ruin Blaster, I do actually recognize. Obviously, we have a photo here. Plays Terran. I mean, he's probably not where everyone's looking. It's absolutely Raynor. But Ruin Blaster might be able to actually do a surprise curveball here and there against the French team.
Yeah, the only thing I know about Mianona is that he asked, or maybe SOS did it on himself, did it by himself, I don't know, but he did make a post on Twitter saying vote for Mianona. SOS, that is.
Cool.
So that was kind of cool on Twitter. But yeah, Raynor is obviously the guy that you look at. Funny fact about Italy, it's shaped like a boot, and that's about it. I'm not going to say anything else. Ruin Blaster, definitely a pretty solid Terran from the European region, but we are looking at the opposition between the entire French lineup in general against Raynor. Most of the observers of the tournament in general say it's France versus Raynor, and that's going to be the story of this best of 7. Who can beat him twice?
Okay, so before watching the prediction of our casters, we have a special video for you guys, actually. You remember Marvin Lord, he 5-0 us Korea 2 years ago. And he has sent us a funny video, and we gotta watch it now.
Salut les gens, petit message de soutien pour l'équipe de France de NationWars. 5e édition, je donne un message de soutien assez tôt quand même, on sait même pas encore les joueurs. Mais je sais qu'ils vont perdre rapidement, du coup faut soutenir rapidement, ça me paraît logique. J'ai vu Stefano était encore dans la liste, c'était cool ça. Ça fait 3 ans qu'il participe, il a toujours pas pris une carte. Je trouve ça cool. J'ai vu Clem et Dennis aussi, y a pas de Drogo. Aïe aïe aïe, c'est dur sans moi. Ah, bonne chance quand même. On essaye de passer le premier tour, ce serait cool. Je vous souhaite que du bien. Bonne chance.
So, have you watched this video before on Twitter?
No, I had no idea.
I did see this video before, and my actual reaction when I saw it was exactly the same one. I was like, okay. But that's why we love Marine Lord. I mean, he knows how much he is important for the French scene as a StarCraft player, and what he did in NationWars 3 back then was just simply amazing. 17-2 in terms of statistics during that season, and he always had that, you know, that little cockiness about him, like, and he wants to tease that French team because we don't really know how far they can go. And obviously NationWars 4, he was still part of the team. He was about to, well, he was on the way of beating Poland back then, if you guys remember, in the round of 16 in the group stage. I think he won against both Mana and Elaser, or was it Nurture? Maybe Mana and Nurture, I don't remember. And then he disconnected, and he just, you know, he wasn't there anymore. And it's, oh my God. So we needed him. That was his last tournament, and he did lose in the end. But yeah, he's a really important persona for the French scene. And even though that video can seem harsh, that sounds exactly like Marine Lord. And I hope that that will push the French players to outdo themselves.
Okay, that's why we love him. Like Marine Lord, he's a funny player. And now I wish you good luck in Overwatch as well. And now I think the interview is ready. The captain of the two teams are here. Oh, actually, Stefano and not Clem. Hello there.
Hi guys. Hello.
Okay, how are you feeling? So we're gonna begin with Reina. Hi.
Hello.
Oh, it looks so cute.
He's also super strong at StarCraft.
Yeah, I know, but
Don't be fooled by his cuteness.
Yeah, okay. So, Reina, you play against France in this first round in NationWars. How are you feeling? You think you can win? You can all kill them? Tell us.
Yeah, I think we can win.
Ooh. So, Stefano, what can you answer to that?
I would say Italy is a good team, or Raider is a good player. I don't know about Italy itself. And like, I won't lie about it. we prepared the match. Like we don't treat it as a random match, or I think it's gonna be easy. But having 4 chances of beating him, like we just have to knock Reynor twice, and it should be okay. So not too scared about that. Not too scared. For him, he has a bit more pressure because he has to beat 2 good players, or 1 good player twice and 2 good players once, which is a bit harder,
Okay.
right?
So, Rena, so as Stefano said, we don't really know much about the 2 other players from Italy. Can you maybe talk to us about them?
Mianona is Protoss, Ring Blaster is Terran. I think Mianona is like 5.6, and I'm not really sure about Ring Blaster, maybe 5.4.
So have you been practicing it together? Maybe you gave him some tips? How did you prepare for this NationWars?
No, I just practiced by myself.
All right. So that leads me to another question, Reynor. Stefano says he has to beat you twice, and that's the whole story of the clan war. We need to beat you twice, and then that's gone. Do you agree with that? Like, can you see a way for your teammates to take out DNS, to take out Stefano, take out Clem, or is it really, really all on your shoulders?
I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Maybe they need a bit of luck, but yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
With luck. Okay,
Yeah.
with luck they can do it.
Good luck indeed.
Yeah, of course. All right. Well, Reynor, you've been performing really well lately. You've kind of been on the rise for like over a year at this point. WHG was an amazing tournament for you. I mean, I know we're talking about NationWars right now, but just with NationWars and the future in mind, like, what do you expect from the next year of StarCraft for Reynor? I mean, WCS is now available for you, and NationWars could be a great start to the year. Think it's going to be a banner year?
Yeah. I would like. I hope so.
All right. So now, Ilias.
Yeah.
What's up, friend?
I'm doing okay. I'm okay. Not stressed. Completely calm, relaxed. All good.
I like hearing that. So,
So you've
Can
seen
you
this.
beat
Amazing. Come on.
can you beat him? Tell me. Tell me that you can beat him.
It's not about can we do it. It's like how long it's gonna take. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Show me some more cockiness like this. Like I want to see the
it's there,
true
it's there,
Stefano.
it's
You know.
there.
Okay. Okay. And how many wins can we expect of you this year?
Me, I won't lie. It's between 0 and more than 0.
Okay.
Okay, well,
Great answer. Great answer.
that's true. So right answer, I guess. Okay, so have you seen this video from Marin Lord?
I did, and I'm a bit disappointed by him because, like, he forgets the whole support he got from the French team. Like, we made everything happen so he can get the best map, or the maps he wanted, and we sacrificed ourselves. And then he only counts himself and his victories, which is a bit shameful, I think. Like, it's a team effort. Even though he did most of the job, we allowed him to do that part of the job, right?
Okay, yeah, that's true. I mean, it's a team. It's not only Reina, it's Italy, and it's the same for you guys.
And here in France, this team, we have a great team spirit, and we're working together and we're preparing the match. Like, I'm actually feeling it this time. I'm feeling it very good.
Okay, so maybe could we know your starting players? Okay,
Go ahead,
you
Reina.
start?
Rena. Yeah, so who's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm going
start
to
for
play
Italy?
first.
Oh, Rena
wow.
is coming
Right.
right
All right.
away.
All right,
No time to lose. What about France?
We're gonna send DNS.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
DNS, Reiner, first game in this so hyped series.
Okay. I just want to know one thing. Now that we know the starting players, what's your
Yeah.
prediction, Reiner? Like, will you go as far as saying 4-0 now that I'm starting first? What's your prediction for the
Yeah.
match? 4-0?
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
Huh.
Okay. No problem. Hey, what about you, Steph?
I'm gonna say 4-1, to be fair.
Okay.
4-1.
Okay.
4-1 for France,
For
or
France,
Italy?
you know.
Of course, for France. What
Okay,
else?
but maybe
Have you met Stefano?
But I don't know, maybe you're being super honest. I don't know.
No, I wouldn't do that. France is gonna win. Good luck to you, Reiner. I wish you best of luck. You're gonna need it.
Okay, good
See ya.
luck to both of you guys, and I can't wait to see this match
Show
to
us good
begin.
games. See ya, guys.
See you.
All right.
Okay, so now let's take a look at our predictions. I mean, I want to change now to Rainer. I mean,
You want to cheer for Italy now?
no, I don't know, but like, I'm melting. I'm just
Can't take back that bite
You
of
can't take-
ravioli,
you-
man.
Yeah, I know, I know, I know.
No.
No, I'm rooting for France. But
You did eat the ravioli. You can't eat. It's happening. I mean, Adjinson ate some Italian food. That means France qualifies, right?
You know,
I mean,
Okay.
it's-
yeah.
so let's check out the
Obvious.
predictions here.
okay,
Okay.
let's see the predictions. So Roddy's
Right,
dead to me.
right.
Okay, Roddy thinks
I'm still alive.
Italia is gonna take it 4-3.
I mean, he was there in person watching Rainer dominate, so I think that does have a little bit of bias on it. But he's also maybe not wrong.
I actually don't care. It's just dead to
Good.
me. I actually enjoyed Roddy back then, but now it's
Yeah, it's terrible.
We won't cast together actually.
Okay.
Not
Well, you
gonna
guys, you both think it's 4-2.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't see Rainer like losing right off the bat.
Right.
So the thing is, now that the opening matchup is DNS against Rainer, I do think it's one of the most important matches because on paper, and I have to be like completely honest, I do think that DNS is slightly favored, but with the state of PVZ, maybe not as much. And then I do think that Rainer is slightly favored against Stefano as well as Clem. So it's a really, really, really important first match. And yeah, if we lose DNS right away, then suddenly one of those two have to go against my prediction of them losing to get the game going. But I will never bet against France, right?
Well, I didn't
even
expect
do
you
it.
to,
I
but
didn't
just-
even do it against Korea.
I thought they
so
might need a revival is all.
They will. I think they will.
Okay, well,
Oh my god. We'll see. We'll see.
Okay, now let's check how the public think. I mean,
Ooh,
we
let's
have
do so.
obviously
Okay.
many French viewers, but we also have fans from Italy.
Yep, 70 to 30%. Like I don't think we mentioned it, but those votes are being used and being casted in every single chat. So it's also like
cool,
it's the
cool.
English stream, but also the French one and all the community streams there is, and there's also an Italian one, I do believe. So yeah, 70-30. I like even in terms of like I would give an edge to France, but none more than 60-40, I guess. So.
Yeah, I would have not been surprised if it was actually I guess 60-40, just a little bit closer. I also thought that Rainer honestly would have a bit more of the appeal, not just because he's cute and Hodgins gonna like giggle over him and stuff, but because he did just have a recent really great performance.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I think we're ready for the first game
Yes,
in the
please.
last series of the day.
Please bring the game. I can't.
It's gonna
I can't
be
wait.
DNS against Rainer. It's gonna be on Callis. To you, casters. Are you excited?
Yes,
Oh my
Ajin.
God.
Yes, Ajin. Excited, but also super stressed out. We'll see what happens in this first game. So Catalyst will be the first map. Not the best one for PvZ. I would have liked something different. Maybe that's... Well, the question is, like, what's the strategy behind it? Why do you send DNS first? Why do you send Rainer first? I expected Rainer to be the first one. I expected France to send Clem first. That's how I felt it. So now it's a PvZ in terms of ratio, even though we usually say that they don't matter. It's a 51% slight advantage for Zerg on the map. It doesn't tell you that much, but it's also like not the easiest map to camp on as a Protoss player, and DNS is rather a defensive player.
Yes, he has kind of grown to the current state he is in by being just very solid at macro, learning that decision making, learning those timings of the Protoss. So I definitely have my eye on him, but I'll talk a little bit more about the specifics of the player after the introductions. Whoopsie. Oh, it's Catalyst. It's game number 1 of the most anticipated match of NationWars, perhaps. In the top left, as the red Zerg, he is Rainer.
The Wonder Kid from Italia will go against our best Protoss, maybe. At least he's the only one, because Drogo didn't make it in the bottom right. As the blue Protoss, he is DNS.
You guys should hear the studio every time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy, they are quite cheering for France. I think Italy has a magnificent chance in Rainer, and I think that France has a great chance with every single one of them being solid, different races, send out on those maps, force some snipes. I mean, this is really the most anticipated match, not just for O Gaming France, but also for just the state of play that we currently see from the highlights of both teams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We're talking about two nations that are like middle of the pack in terms of WCS points, so it's not like one of the most one-sided nation wars on paper. Like it might have been Poland, for instance, going up before, but no, France, Italy, both nations middle of the pack. Not that many WCS points because, not a single French player did make it to the round of 8 this year in WCS or in 2017. So just in general, on paper, this match should be close, and that's thanks to Rainer's performance in general. He was the only one to actually make a name for himself this year. The other two players from Italy we don't really know about. We'll see them play eventually when Rainer dies to that first all-in of DNS. No, it's not even an all-in. It's going to be a Stargate super standard opening.
Yep.
With the third base being taken at the instead of the natural.
Yeah, because the probe was really, really fast.
Yep.
I was a little surprised. I just didn't know much about the other two guys on Italy. I knew Ruin Blaster's name, but not necessarily because he's won a bunch of stuff. But apparently, I forgot his name already. It's so Italian.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Mia Nonna.
Mia Nonna was actually higher ranked than Ruin Blaster. So
Okay.
I believe that's what Rainer said, unless I swapped it accidentally. So that was a bit surprising.
He didn't know about Ruin Blaster.
Well, he guessed, yeah, exactly.
he
but the way that he
just guessed.
guessed, it made it sound like he was kind of sure, but didn't want to be. I'm gonna, Anyways, we might see those guys later on, but it's definitely all about Rainer. Can he beat what you consider might be the toughest opponent of France?
Yes,
right?
exactly.
But I wanted to get into just a little bit about DNS, where I think that he's a great Protoss. I think he's very solid. He's worked on his mechanics more than like being the super cheesy guy. A little bit of aggression right here. It's actually getting a little complicated. But in my experience, from like my point of view here, he's that Protoss that always is looking so fantastic, so great defense, great decision making, and then, oh, you actually chose the wrong thing once. You get doom dropped by lurkers, you move out at the wrong time. And that is like significantly handicapping his performances in the WCS.
No, I do
so
agree
close.
with you. Like the way I see it is more that he doesn't feel that comfortable offline. I think online he's got amazing performances. I think you can talk about it with like you probably casted the finals of the Ting Open that he won against Sneeb.
Yeah, against Sneeb.
So that's the kind of performance that you can look at with DNS's career, at least online. He's able to beat the best players in the planet. So
yeah, that was a bit of an outlier, to be honest. It was kind of like Neve had a really off day, I think, because like the next day or next day or something.
I'm sorry. Don't crush my dreams, Jess.
It was a PvP, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, it doesn't even matter.
No, but I also stick with DNS. Is just he's like on the cusp of being the next great French Protoss, but he's just not quite there.
Yeah, I agree.
So that kind of covers our early game. We did have a Stargate opener, which didn't do very much. The Adepts ended up being taken care of with some ease. And we have DNS already on his Twilight Council and his Robo, Roach One Lair. I mean, it's some pretty basic stuff.
Yeah, really, really basic game for now. Slow third base from DNS, not taking any risks, going for that Stargate. But as you mentioned, that Phoenix didn't achieve much, except a couple of Overlords that have been fended off. But now, Adepts out of position. That Nexus might get cancelled. It will get cancelled. And I don't know if I read too much into things, but I do feel like he's a little bit... I don't know. I don't know if he feels that good about this, but for now, 5 Adepts will make their way to the third base. Maybe some nerves on the side of DNS, but we'll see. Can he get more than a drone? The Shades will be used again, losing a second Adept. Probably will lose the third one, and they will go down. Okay.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you don't want to lose any Adepts, like in a very ideal world, that's always the case. But I mean, like, I think it's more like a get-in, get-out situation. He does have Resident Glaives on the way, and he's going to have more Adepts. He actually loses the rest of them on the retreat, which I think really he didn't want to have happen. So maybe not the best start here for DNS. He did also have to cancel that Nexus. I don't think he has to cancel it again. He was building Adepts back at home, as said, have Resident Glaives, but I feel like now it can't really be all that aggressive. Rainer initially defended with Lings, but he does have those Roaches now on the way, going into Roach speed and +1.
Yep, as DNS is building his first Immortals, I think he already has one out. The second one is on the way. The defense on the third base is hairtight for now. Once again, Rainer, that's he's a really, really aggressive player, and with his Zerglings, he tries to make it happen on the map. But once again, see DNS clicking on his own Nexus. I can see a little bit of nerves going the French Protoss way is for now. Nothing too bad happened anyways, lost a couple of probes, and now we'll produce a Warp Prism.
Yeah, you know, he didn't get a forge, I don't believe. I do wonder about how long he's willing to take this game.
Nope.
Stops at 50 probes as well as the next... Oh, no, he started up again. Okay, but there could still be an attack here. Going down the right side of Catalyst, the force fields that he has would be able to buy time if he does find himself in a sticky situation. Of course, recall is always available. But Raynor is just relentless with these Lings. This time finding a third base, just absolutely bare of defenses. No shield battery even. Raynor's probably wondering where that army is. Is it pulling back? I think it's just continuing to go forward as the Lings are mostly cleaned up. Get 7 probes.
Yeah, okay. DNS wants to take his own fate into his hands and will go for his first massive attack in this game with Resonating Glaives, 4 sentries with lots of energy, 1 force field will trap some Zerglings, but that's not enough. Those Roaches and Ravagers will go in front and try to get a couple of Corrosive Bile going, but those just hit a Creep Tumor. We'll see if we can do it even more with those force fields, getting 3 Queens out of the way. Now, some Roaches and Ravagers, the Biles are going to be used to destroy those force fields, but a lot of Queens going down. Those Adepts, they hold the front right there, and those Immortals dealing a massive amount of damage, but that Prism might die. The last Corrosive Bile will take him out.
That is huge, but does Raynor actually have enough left over? The Immortals are still alive. The sentries are out of force fields, and more reinforcements are coming in. That Warp Prism being taken out was huge.
Oh yeah, it would have made a tremendous difference if that last Whopping would have been able to be alive and still be on the front. He's going to lose every single Immortal. And with this, Raynor holds the attack without taking that much damage. It's going to be 49 probes against 68 drones with 4 hatcheries and still some tech going on. That looks amazing for Italy in this first game.
I was going to talk about how Raynor over-drone. He got a 4th base. It was all looking bad for him. And then the Warp Prism goes down with the last few Ravagers. Talk about clutch. Now, DNS is not going to tap out here. The inflation of Raynor's supply, it's a lot of drones right now, but the army is still all those Roaches. But aggressively shading forward, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that, as some Zerglings will kill some more probes as DNS is trying to transition and get a little bit more economy going for himself, but he loses more probes. That's 8 more going down the drain, which means 48 to the 73 drones of Raynor. He's in a perfect spot to win this game with Hydralisk coming and even the Lurker then. Raynor held the attack perfectly, but you mentioned it, that was clutch. That last Corrosive Bile right before those 6 or 7 more Stalkers were being whopped in, and DNS, I hope he doesn't feel too bad about it, because it looked like he was about to win the game, but then he positioned his Prism a little bit too aggressively.
Yeah, he did. It was still going to be questionable with the amount of Roaches that were reinforcing, but oh my gosh, that made it a lot easier for Raynor. He's now on 5 bases, adding on all this tech. Of course, he has that upgrade. DNS didn't have the Forge to do that push, didn't have much gas either, so we don't see that quick follow-up to Storm. He really does not have a secure mid-game here against mass units, against Lurkers, because the mortal count was cut down with the push as well. His Warp Prism dies, that was kind of his one hope to continue buying time. Oh, this does not look good for DNS.
The prism on the first attack, it really would have changed a lot. Like more units and also the micro capacity that it has with the Immortals would have made a tremendous difference. But now DNS is just trying to climb back into this game, and that's going to be tough, as you mentioned, with all the technology that's coming Raynor's side. Lurkers are actually making their way to the opposite side of the map and try to finish DNS's run. He's gonna try to throw down a robotics bay, and yes, disruptors could help, but they're not going to be there in time.
No, they're not. I really like that idea, but it's just not timely, as it's still only halfway done. Force Fields would have bought more time, but he was a little late to the ramp, and it's just now going to be a complete surround. Oh, good God.
Jess.
That's,
that looks terrible.
Yeah.
That looks terrible for France, as DNS is probably going to lose that first game. He's going to try his heart out. More Adepts. Pauses as he GG's, and that's first game for Raynor and Italy. Yes.
Probably a mistake.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
That was a mistake.
Yeah.
Losing that Prism was a massive mistake as well.
Yeah, that was as well.
Yes.
Oh, but Raynor, I mean, I feel like you start to recognize certain things that happen when it's not just like, oh, he has good macro, oh, he has good micro, oh, he made the right decision, he has the good builds. You start to recognize like these things that just happen to the greatest players that we have in StarCraft. And I'm not saying Raynor's like, I don't want to overhype the guy so much, but the magic touch, you know, like the one like last minute Ravager that they wouldn't have had if they were just a little bit worse. It would have been so close. That Warp Prism didn't live, and here we have the recap because it was the pivotal moment of the game.
And look at that. So he had like one more bile just to finish up the Warp Prism, and the first Ravager. Why do I stand up? I'm on camera. I'm sorry, but the thing is, that Ravager that sent the first bile was like 10 HP.
Yeah.
He could have died before sending that bile, which means a totally different story, a prism that lives, and some more stalkers on the field. So really clutch plays coming out of Raynor, and that's what we expected. That's why we hyped up the kid so much. And right now, he's showing it against DNS in a game that has massive importance, in general, like massive importance for the rest of his career, for the rest of Italy, going up into those NationWars. So props to the guy, obviously.
Yeah, well, clearly. Raynor is now setting himself up for the 1-0, setting himself up for the all-kill. Stefano and Clem, thank you, are now on the docket. So who will it be, the ZVZ or the ZVT?
I don't have the maps in my head right now, so I will not be able to tell you. I'd say Stefano. I want to see Stefano play as fast as I can, so... Just, it's going to be on Blackpink.
Just going to wait, so I don't have to say anything.
I'd say Stefano. And it's going to be Clem, of course.
I was going to guess Clem. Well, the reason I was going to guess Clem is that I feel like the team captain thing really prepped me for this whole, youngster versus youngster battle. But then he wasn't on the interview, and then he wasn't the first player. So I was like, maybe I'm just getting this idea in my mind too much. But I think that regardless of France's intention about, creating that storyline, Clem is also just a really good player. I mean, sitting out of Terran, it was either or, really.
No, of course, Clem is a really, really good player. He's been, steadily improving for the last couple of years, 3 years, and ever since he started his career, he looked like a kid prodigy. Same goes as Raynor. Those guys are practically the same, and maybe in terms of level, Raynor is slightly better these days, but I do think that Clem gets and wins against Raynor fairly often, so it's not a done deal at all, but I don't know about the pressure, in the interview, did you look at how confident Raynor looked? All smiles and everything?
He's really that odd guy out, by the way. It's gonna all kill,
Daniel, who done? That's not nice. That's not nice. Screen it. Okay. Yeah, I will. And I will post it on Twitter after we win. Right? Nah.
Little guys,
I have
huge
no
skills.
idea, guys. I have no idea. Raynor versus Clem. Little guys, huge skills.
I feel like Raynor's going to get sick of being called cute.
Yeah.
He's going to get he's 24 years old. He's going to be super jacked. He's going to grow a manly beard.
But Jess, there's worse thing to be called.
Right? No, there absolutely is.
Yeah. Oh my God, he's so ugly. It's oh, he's so ugly. It's no. I'd rather be being called cute. I think the game is about to start. Can you confirm that, guys? I think we have the game ready, so it's gonna be the battle of the little ones. Clem versus Raynor.
Without TLO here to oversee, unfortunately. Yeah. All right.
The new little ones.
Yeah, there you go. Blackpink. It's gonna be a TVZ. So we can see that it's very balanced for TVZ. It's also, I feel, a balanced map for either bio or mech, but I feel like Clem has been... I mark him as a bio player, but it's not like I see him all the time. He could be experimenting with mech as well. But for when mech was really popular, I feel months ago, it's actually just gone back to I want to say 80% bio games.
Recently, what I've seen from Clem in the TVZ matchup is mostly bio with lots of tanks, but also a player that accepts to go into the late game and slow down the pace and go for mass ghost. He always liked those units. So I'd expect something out of the French player, but for now we will introduce the other one, the killer of DNS in this first game, as the red Zerg representing Italy. It is Raynor.
In the top right, as the blue Terran, now representing France, it is Clem.
Okay, that's an important game. Every single one is important. The French stream is just yelling in our ears right now, but yeah, you don't want to go 0-2 against the heavy hitter of the opposite team. And I do think, and I hope he doesn't listen to me right now, that DNS should be super tilted right now. I can feel it. I can feel it. He knows he was a whopping away from winning this game, I think, and making it so much easier for France. And I know he thinks and he values that match against Italy very high, which is normal. And he knows that he's probably the ace for France. So setting himself first, expecting to meet Clem, was so close from beating him, and then suddenly loses it because of, you know, like bad positioning on the prism, to be a proximity of the prism to the Ravagers. He might be tilted, which means that even in a, you know, revive kind of scenario, I hope he can calm down, you know, and go back, because I expect DNS to be the revive player.
This goes back to we were talking about how Rainer is like just this calm guy in the interview. I think that if he is going to be revived, and it's still a high possibility that he will have to be revived, I should say, that he will be totally calm and collected. I was going to mention how rare it is to find, especially someone so young, but also someone so just, you know, up and coming in the scene, be calm, collected, happy, optimistic. He's a really good upbringing. I mean, kudos to his parents, basically, but he's a very good mindset for being the ace player.
Yeah. But knowing Clem, it's kind of the same. He wasn't there during the interview, even though he was noted as captain, so I don't really know what happened there. But yeah, he's also somebody that's rather optimistic. He's able to play some really, really intense games without showing that much, you know, pressure and everything. We played a couple of show matches. For the beginning of NationWars 5, he was facing Snoot back then, lost 2-1 in the end, but that first game he played, playing Ghost and everything, he actually won it, or at least got a draw out of it, but he didn't know it. He killed every single drone of Snoot, and and didn't know it, and I had to tap out. But I think he doesn't fear anybody, you know, and and that's good. But also, like, there's a bit of competition going between Clem and Rainer, so I don't know what he feels exactly for that match in particular. But I don't see him as a player that will, you know, fear of losing or fear of just playing. He will just play his game.
Yeah, I agree. It will seem to have some pretty solid mentality. Now, we have seen not much again off base for the beginning. No 2-racks, which would have been quite funny, but no, not going to happen. It is just Hellion, Banshee. I believe there's no Viking made. Continued harassment. It looks like Clem's not too afraid to actually send those Hellions out immediately. Rainer had some excellent lane control last game, constantly darting in and out, making sure they're always on the map. You can do the same thing versus Terran and really just make them weep as they send the Hellions out, and then they get Lings running their natural.
I can't believe the French stream is just yelling at the lava getting killed by the Hellions and Reaper. They're all cheering. It's like, oh my god, he got it! But yeah, that's good for confidence. So Hellion and Banshees for Clem, but you mentioned it. Rainer with Zerglings is a really, really, really scary opponent. So you need to take that into account. Probably get, I don't know, like an F key or something on your wall, on your natural, to go back and just raise the wall, because he will try to do it. And once again goes for the double Evo build that he used against Major Spatial. So double Evo before Lair, super quick upgrades, and heavily relying on Zerglings.
Now, as our observer pointed out, oh, wait a second. Okay, there's
Cloak
Lings.
has been cancelled?
Right, Cloak has been cancelled, which also means that he's going to be able to go into the barracks a little bit faster. Now, Banshee was made. This could be even defensive, but it's actually going to try and do something. Spore Crawler and kind of an alive turret place, I'll always call it, but it works out.
Works out pretty well, actually. Okay, the 2 upgrades have been started by Rainer on the side of the Terran player, only +1. I believe there's only 1 eBay. Clem will confirm the position of the first Evo. He actually split those 2, so maybe trying for a mind game right now. Oh, okay, you're playing with only 1 Evo, even though he has 2. Lots of Hellions on the ground. Clem is gonna all in on this one, or at least puts a lot of pressure on 2 bases.
Adding those extra 2 barracks, only 1 engineering bay. Oh, that was a pretty good surround. Unfortunately, Hellbats would have been very useful to have with a follow-up push. Losing the Hellions like that probably shouldn't have gone on creep if you plan on using them for later, but that's a big loss.
Rainer played that perfectly, though.
He did.
Like the split of the Zerglings and the reaction time from the Italian player was just perfect. Now Lair is coming in. Most of the tanks are still being produced. And
I feel like this really fell out. That was awkward. This really fell out of fashion because it became so obvious. You know, there wasn't a 3rd CC at the front. There wasn't a double engineering bay at the front. Those are the walls of the Terran at this point. If you see 1 engineering bay, you don't assume there's not a second one, but you're probably like, you should be, well, is there a second one? Is there a 3rd command center? What's happening? I think he knows what's going on. He sees the push forward. Does he actually have the preparation? He's going to be all in, I guess, again, but the Terran all-ins are always so funky. I think they take a little longer. There's always the potential that mules can bring them back. But usually it's around how good the tanks can be positioned, and I'm wondering where specifically he's hoping to get to, because there's a lot of creep.
Yeah, considering the creep hasn't been touched that much, he lost every single Hellion, he didn't kill drones to maybe slow down the economy of the Italian player before the all-in hits. All those queens have a lot of energy, so there's going to be some transfuses available. Combat shield is not done yet, he will push before the 1-1 of the Zerg player, but as soon as I finish my sentence, it is now done. So that all-in, he needs to perfectly micro, and once again, Raynor is just splitting Zerglings left and right, and he's gonna go for it.
It's a big concave, nothing from behind, however, so the tanks are getting okay fire. Stim backwards to the tanks, 2 of them, 1 of them alive, but all of the queens are transfused. They're going to be able to clean this up, and this did not work.
This did not work at all, and the fight finishes as Combat Shield finishes. It will have helped quite a bit, having 10 more hit points on every single Marine, and Clem losing 3 tanks, even though they did a pretty good job at tanking damage. They didn't do that much against the Zerglings in itself, but they kept the Marines alive for a bit. But still, Clem not going to tap out yet, even though he's in a really rough spot. He will throw down a 3rd CC, go for the +1 armor, but at the same time, Raynor with 2-2 starting already.
Yeah, this is that the audio I was talking about, where like I do feel that there are a lot of Terrans they don't accept it. You know, we got Medivacs, we got Stim, we can do anything.
Yeah, of course.
And unfortunately, this is not a great start to that doing anything. Losing the command center. Clem is in definite trouble, but you know, it's really nitpicky for me to say like he could have come in from behind as well with that defense from Raynor. Those would have made the tanks fire elsewhere. Clem never really got into a great position. It was a huge concave potential for the Zerg, and that's where I was like, why this map? Why against a Zerg player? You know, you didn't really push back the creep. It seems just...
No, strategically speaking, I agree with you, Jess. I don't think that was the right build to use, and the execution wasn't perfect. And obviously, if you keep 6 aliens alive, then maybe you can throw down an armor and get some Hellbats to take in the front, especially against somebody that relies heavily on Zerglings. So for now, Clem will try to just slow down the pace of the game. He will try to defend and just send drops left and right, well, actually north and south to the 3rd base and probably the main base, try to work on the creep, but that's once again he's gonna try to go for a counter-attack with Zerglings, but this time Clem is in position.
Yeah, really nice. I think he knows not only that that's a possibility, but also this is just what you would do if you're not doing a main push, rally to your natural, and then drop everywhere else, and it can work. But Raynor also is going to identify like, okay, that's what you're doing, you're trying to play it into the macro game, I just need to defend for a little while, finish by 2-2, clean up the drops as he's doing here, and then maybe even think about Hive.
Yep. Probably as the first title is actually being built. The 5th base has been cancelled, so that's something for Clem that microed the north side drop pretty well, but lost 2 Medivacs in the south. He did get a lot of Banelings for his troubles. Gonna try to get some more damage. Nice targeting for now, but you need to pick up Clem, and that's what he does. Still 15 Marines on the north side of the map. And yeah, Clem slowing down the pace, still on only 1 eBay, but probably knows by now that he won't be able to just go for a frontal push. So I think he aims for late game as he slows down Raynor.
That was good. He is getting a 2nd upgrade, obviously a lot later, and he's also going for his tank upgrade, but I wouldn't have minded if he just stuck on the 1 engineering bay.
Yeah.
But you ideally do have 2-2 against what could even be Raynor 3-3 starting, but of course he's on Hive. Ivasishevich just finishing. I don't think he's going to die before Hive, and that's the real problem for Clem. He doesn't have a 2-2 tank push, and adapting to late game TVZ after having such a bad opener is going to be really difficult.
Oh yeah, definitely. And you mentioned it, Hive was coming, and it's now starting as the Liberator will see just the natural once again, getting a couple of drones. We'll go back to safety. Those 2 Medivacs will not achieve anything considering the 7 queens with +2 armor waiting for them. And now you need to pick up, and you need to pick up fast, Clem. We'll get 1 Baneling now targeting once again. He shows off his mechanics right there, but is it going to be enough against Ultralisk? Probably.
Right, probably Ultras. There's nothing really here that says don't go for Ultras. He hasn't seen a high number of Marauders. I guess he hasn't checked to see the tank count, but we, the observers, know that the 2nd factory only just finished, so that's not even a threat. And then Stun of Liberators, aside from the ones that were harassing. So Ultras would be just a counter to what Clem currently has.
Yeah. obviously 7 tanks though in the units tab. As we can see, 4th
growing.
CC is being built, only 1 tank at a time. Clem is a little bit starved for minerals right there, not reacting instantly. We'll try to just trade as many hydraulics as he can while saving a medivac. Can't say I'm really against that move. I think that was nice salvaging, considering he went super late to that alert on his screen on the north side. Yeah, those Zerglings have been waiting like forever.
Ooh.
And actually, he's actually going to go for a pre-hive timing, Clem, that is, with his massive tank count. Let's see if he can make it happen. There is no Vipers on the way, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit later to the 2-2, but it is technically a 2-2 pre-hive timing. Raynor, I mean, he could have gotten the Ultras a lot faster, I think, but he maxed out first. There's still a lot of that creep spread, a lot of queens to help out and tank as well. And there's always a possibility that Raynor either run-bys or gets us around, and this time it's a run-by.
Raynor is so good with those lane counterattacks, and that's something that will take so much from the attention of Clem as he's doing this push, and he needs to micro his heart out to not take so many bailing hits. He needs to target fire with the tanks as he has to settle down his economy at the opposite side of the map. It is so important by Raynor that he made that happen, and those Zerglings are still dealing tremendous amount of damage in the main.
Yeah, I guess maybe it's finally going to be cleaned up, but a lot of attention was taken away from the front, so this push becomes even slower than it already was, having to deal with all the creep. It's actually not cleaned up, continuing to get those production facilities. And it looks like Clem is inching closer to a really good spot, but now it can be surrounded.
Yep, and that's going to happen right now. Mass Hydral is coming from north side and the left side, and everything is just dying on the side of Clem. There's just too much Zerg, and all those tanks, the only units that can do anything against those Hydralisks are already gone. And now the bio from French Terran is actually just retreating as fast as they can. That looks like a 2-0 and a really poor start for France.
Yeah, a third of the army supply, I'm saying it looks like a 2-0. Raynor just showing how powerful he can be. Clem did have a 4th, and I kind of wish that once he realized he had to go on creep to really do damage, he was just like, you know what? Never mind.
Let's pull back.
Yeah, let's pull back. Let's get to Liberators. Instead, he committed, and Raynor is a smart cookie. He had a surround set up.
Smart cookie indeed he is, and maybe he will bring the old kill to his country, because right now he took down DNS and now he just needs one more A and click to finish that second game and get his team to the 2-0 lead, forcing Stefano to come out and maybe take a game for the first time in 3 seasons.
Why you gotta say it like that, man?
Because that's the story of the next game. I'm pre-hyping the next game.
Of course, yeah.
I'm pre-hyping the next game.
You're pre-hyping that Stefano win.
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine
time
how
to change everything.
Imagine how incredible it would be that, because we need him right now. Like,
yes.
0-3. Yeah, no, I don't want to see that happen. Like, one player has to take down Raynor at some point.
Wow, Hajin just deflated.
I don't know what to say actually after that. Like, Raynor's good, and
Raynor is too good.
yeah, his. Sorry, I just lost my words, and.
It's just like, it was expected. Like, let me try to break it down. Like, the ZVT win was expected. DNS losing, I think that's the one we needed, and that's why I wanted Stefano to come out, because, and especially if Clem had that in his mind, like that push in his mind, ever since the beginning, we said it. This is not the best map to do it on.
It's so difficult when you do have that creep past that the choke where the queens are right now. That's where it was, and that's where the fight started. It allowed the concave to happen. It allowed, I mean, Clem also, it's such an obvious build, as I was saying, as it got set up that Raynor knew exactly what to do. I don't want to say that this is the fault of the map entirely. It's just that, you know, losing the Hellenes, it couldn't help out, and then losing any positioning advantage, Raynor was just too smart. He predicted all of these tank positionings and dealt with them fine.
Yeah, he's amazing, and really, like, what he showed in this CVT is pretty much pristine. Like, he knew what was coming, his micro was perfect, he always had the Zerglings in place, and when he saw the push, even though, like, we didn't expected it, like, not at all. Like, I thought he would just sit back and try to get to late game, as we know that Stefano will be playing that last game. I think nobody expected it, but he still had that Zergling counterattack force ready to go, and as soon as he saw it, right into the main. And yeah, as you mentioned, Jess, I think he should have pulled back at this moment, but Clem was still like maybe tunnel vision a little bit and wanted to deal some damage. When you think about it, there's no Vipers, but Clem doesn't know that, so you're like, okay, maybe that's a good point, but didn't work in the end.
Yeah, Terrans always get a little bit happy when they're like, oh no, this timing could actually work. The ultras aren't out, and then actually it's still hard to defeat a Ling Banling Hydra army. So.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so we have 2-0 here in France, Italy, but it's not over yet. And as I predicted 4-2, so they had to win 2 games anyway. So,
So
France
now
can-
Stefano needs to all kill.
yeah. He can. Oh, yeah, okay, maybe 4-3, but still. Keep tweeting at us for cheering for France. It's not over yet. France is still alive and we still have a revive. And Stefano's gonna play the next game. So stay with us and we'll be just back after a break. Welcome back with us for the last series of the day, France, Italy. We've been waiting for this series the whole week, actually. And now we already have 2-0 for Italy. Like, Reina is really amazing here. And now Stefano is going to play against him. And if he has to win a game, it's going to be that one.
Yeah,
Exactly.
It has to be that one.
Yeah, I mean, we will all forget about the performance of NationWars Season 4, where you forgot about Dark Templars being pretty popular in that meta back then, and there was no Spore Crawler. We'll forget about NationWars 3, where Marine Lord put him on his back. If he wins the map here, that's obviously a massive victory for France.
Exactly.
And, I mean, is it needed? The fourth map in this series, like worst case scenario, Stefano loses here. The fourth map in this series is Neon Violet Square, which would be a decent map for DNS. I think a lot of Protoss players see that as the second best map in the current map pool. So it's absolutely not over yet. But Reina is freaking amazing. Like, the kid is so good.
I can't say anything about like his performance in general. Like, I mean, the way he handled the first attack from DNS in game 1, perfect. Timing on the Ravager, got lucky with the 10 hit points, but still got the Prism. And then, like, it was a clinic of ZVT what he showed in game 2 against Clem. Like, he couldn't show anything, Clem, that is. Tried for a build that we thought wasn't the perfect opportunity on Blackpink, but still, the way he handled it, it was perfect.
Utermal does that build quite often on Blackpink.
On Blackpink?
And in a way, maybe it makes sense where he feels, as we've got a couple of tweets coming in as well for the baguettes. I think what he was hoping for is that the Reynor does indeed go for 1-1 upgrades.
Oh.
You know, I understand where Clem was going with it, and it could potentially be good maybe against, you know, that late bailing speed style, but it's tough, man. Reynor is a very, very strong Zerg.
Oh, he is, but he is in the early phases of the game. Well, he is everywhere in the game, but he's particularly impressive and dangerous during those 10-15 first minutes of the game. So we'll see if we get to see a late game between either him and Stefano or DNS if he was to be revived.
Yeah, in a bizarre scenario, let's say this goes ultra late game ZVZ where you've got Lurkers, Vipers, Queens, maybe Broodlords. I actually feel that like I kind of like Stefano in a situation like that. And the same thing goes for DNS. I believe if DNS can get up to 7-8 carriers with Storm on Neon Violet, Reynor is an absolutely fantastic, very complete player, but if there's one thing where I feel he lacks maybe a tiny bit, it's that ultra late game when it comes down to all the spellcasters.
Yeah.
But yeah, his early game is so freaking clean.
Multitasking, perfect, on point, and so aggressive every time. Gets to keep his units alive so they can come back and, you know, and stab you in the back once again. Now, he does that super well and with ease in general. It's really impressive to see him play that.
Yeah, his engagement is actually kind of funny because we used to compliment Stefano all the time. Obviously, when he was in his prime, one of the reasons why Stefano was winning so much was because he was freaking good at these big engagements, these surrounds. Well, guess what? This young man is absolutely fantastic in that as well. Spawning in the right bottom side of Acid Plant, he has given his country a 2-0 lead. It's Reynor.
And in the top left, I gave him a hard time multiple times after what he did in NationWars 3 and 4, but I will forget about everything if he gets this one. For France, it is Stefano! And that's the production crew this time. I don't know if you guys could hear it.
Backstage it was going wild as well. Everyone was having high hopes and dreams, and then there was that one clutch moment where that final corrosive ball, and I could hear all the hearts sink deep down into their bodies. It was kind of like, it was almost a movie script how that happened, because it's like
so sick.
The two balls, and this time everyone was like, oh! And then, like, out of nowhere, the third one comes. It's
No,
like,
he has a third one! No!
And it was so close. Even if those stalks finish up, it actually becomes very dicey for Reynor there.
Yeah, the timing was really, really clutch. Like, canceling the stalkers, but even if he does kill the prism, but the stalkers are in place, maybe he can get a win out of this.
Yeah, with the adepts, with the sentries, you get closer towards that hatch as well, which means that every roach pops could get one-shotted by those immortals. It was a very close moment. A couple of great clips on Twitter about that already from the atmosphere here in the O Gaming studio. You know, I am a very big Reynor fan, and I kind of thought he was going to do it, but I kind of hope for you guys as well that at least this game or this series will go down to the wire, so that either Stefano or DNS gets that one victory over Reynor, and then obviously France is going to be a big favorite over the other two members in the team.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Let's see what happens in this game. We are on Acid Plant, and I feel like it's the theater of, you know, the end of France or the beginning, the rise of our nation here, with Stefano trying to show that he has what it takes to take on Reiner, that little kid prodigy that's for now hurting us quite a bit. Let's see.
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to cast quite a few ZVZs from Reiner in Asia. He played against ISONU and he kind of dismantled them 3-0 very convincingly. Then he went up against Dark in a match where I think both of them were already advanced, but obviously seeding did matter quite a bit. He lost 0-3. He had a very close game on Eastwatch where I actually thought he was about to win. And obviously if you look at Stefano, you compare them to those two, well, worse than Dark, but better than ISONU. So let's see how this one plays out.
Yeah, of course. Both players will gather their, will grab their third expansion as the Baneling Nest are coming on both sides. So for now, quite the mirror matchup. None of those players went heavy on the Zerglings yet. Even though Stefano is climbing the number to 8 right now, will be able to defend this. He's got a slightly later metabolic boost, and
wow,
look
beautiful.
at this, Reiner.
Oh,
what a god.
Gets out of there with all the links
And
as
he's
well.
so cute.
As we had a little bit of a dance between those two links. First Bane's on the way. Stefano has been working quite hard on his ZVZ. I talked with him in Katowice. He said he does feel better about it. Still not a big fan, but for a while it was really the one matchup where he felt he's like, oh, come on, I just want to show what my ZVT and ZVP is made of. And he kept getting Zergs in every single tournament. It was really holding him back. He feels he's better at it now. And this is obviously the time to prove it.
Okay, let's see if he can do something about that third hash. One Baneling already in orange health. Let's see if he can get the second. Yes, he will finish it, but that doesn't mean that he will be able to get that kill on the third hatch, as we have two Banelings from Stefano in the middle of the map. Doesn't really know what to do with them. Maybe he could have went for, you know, the natural run by with some Banelings, but he didn't go for it. And the first player to throw down a Roach Warren will be the French one.
Yeah, we've got Evo Chambers going down on both sides as well. It's important, of course, for Reiner that he doesn't wait too long with that. Eventually, you do want to get your own roaches out as well, and it wouldn't hurt to throw it down at this point. But other than that, it's kind of a mirror game. Both players showing each other a lot of respect, not really a favorable trade for one or the other. I think Stefano has been playing a pretty clean game so far, and I started to worry a little bit for Reiner. I mean, he's getting missile attacks already, and just now he throws down that Roach Warren as one of these Banes from Reiner, I believe, did connect with quite a few links of Stefano.
Yeah, that's the first proper engagement for Reiner, killing about like 10 Zerglings with only one Bane, which is good. Will probably snap a drone, not even. Nice defense from Stefano on this one. Economically speaking, 47 drones to the 51, nothing to see here. 3 more drones, the lair is here.
9 more for Reiner though. Normally it's say nothing to see here, but now he gets 2 drones as well, and he just squeezed out a very big round of drones. So slowly but steady, Reiner is creating a small economic advantage for himself. Stefano did a tiny bit of damage on the other side of the map. He got 2 drones for himself as well. Look at Reiner, he just produced 30 Zerglings.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of Zerglings indeed, and we'll see if he tries to make something happen with it, or is he afraid of an attack from Stefano? Of course, the French player has a lot of Zerglings on the opposite side of the map, but not as many as 30 Zerglings that Reiner is trying to build right now.
These Banes have been spotted as well. Reiner is going to use his Queens to snipe down that first Baneling. Stefano is looking for more economic damage, but those 2 Banes didn't really do much. And now suddenly I feel Reiner has a pretty big Zergling advantage, where he should perhaps be able to get a cancel on this fourth base. If not, maybe more of a few Banes on the other side of the map and try to get lucky.
Stefano is supply blocked at the moment. Okay, he just finished a couple of overloads, so he will be able to produce some roaches. But those 10 roaches, they will not pop out now. And there's a lot of Zerglings for Reiner, actually grabbing some more Zergling on the side of Stefano, and there's nothing to defend yet. Those roaches, they will pop out, but in a couple of seconds. And for now, that natural is awfully exposed.
That's quite a bit of economic damage. No mining now at all. A few drones going down. 14, what? Banelings on the other side of the map as well. That's what I mentioned with all those lings and Banes. And while we were looking at an even game, suddenly Reiner creates a massive advantage for himself.
Oh my god, Roddy, that doesn't look too good. Those 19 drones going down are awfully, well, hurtful for Stefano. 34 army supply to the 52 of Reiner, 63 drones to the 56, and that's only drones that just came out now. He was below 50 just before, so that's not looking good at all. +2 attack is at the advantage of Reiner. Also +1 carapace, and Stefano is gonna go for something that he always loved, which is burrowed roaches. And I hope it's going to work.
I like it for Stefano because I feel if he does the exact same thing as Reiner from this point on, I don't think he's going to win because he's going to be outnumbered in any case of the game. So why not try to, throw a curveball here and try to make something happen with burrowed roaches, try to find some openings somewhere. But this army of Reiner doesn't lie. Stefano hasn't spotted it yet. And his forward base, or maybe he did pick up on it. Reiner is just all over the place, man. Even Mapu, our awesome observer, is having trouble keeping up with Reiner.
Yeah, Reiner is just too fast, man. And now those roaches try to get a queen, but they don't even get it as the fourth base is being under attack. And Stefano will lose the hatchery. He already has less army, less upgrades, and he will lose a hatch, which means less production. Nothing is going right for France here. Nothing's going right for Stefano. And we do hope that those burrowed roaches will be able to achieve at least something. For now, I don't think that Reiner expects it. He doesn't see it. He didn't see the burrow upgrade on anything yet.
This one happy young Italian boy is so stupid good at StarCraft already. It's crazy to see where if he keeps this up, where he can take this, because it seems like he's just outclassing Stefano here in the ZVZ. He's all over the place. He's been super active with run buys. He's been making plays happen. He's taking fights left, right, and center, pulling Stefano out of position while doing more and more and more economic damage.
And now he knows about the burrowed roaches. There's just too many roaches on the natural, which means the queen will go down and the economy of that base will go down as well. Stefano has to burrow the drone. That might be the equivalent of waving the white flag in a way. That's not going well at all for Stefano. Maybe he can get a sandwich in a way, but he will lose it. Denied the +2 attack. Oh my god.
Oh, the icing on the cake there. Reiner denying the +2, which was seconds away, or just a second away.
And he got the roach
from finishing up. Yeah, I mean, Reiner is having a field day. Stefano is trying to make something happen with the roaches on the other side of the map, but losing that Evo chamber. If things weren't looking rough yet, I mean, what do you do if you're Stefano right now?
I don't really know what he's capable of doing in the state of this game. He doesn't have anything going for him. The burrowed roaches have been scouted, so there's spores and overseals everywhere. It's not like there's roaches in every single base that Stefano can pick on the economy instantly. He's got 2 upgrades less than his opponents.
Stefano morphed 10 Ravages, so he doesn't consider that fourth base either, so perhaps his comeback play here is to land a couple of massive corrosive balls, but Reiner shows no respect for this army. He sees the roaches, he's like, that's all the roaches you've got? That means I can get on top of those Ravages potentially. Stefano doing a good job with his Ravages though.
Yeah, not losing the fight right away, but still, the army is out of position for the natural, so Reiner will pounce on it and get some more drones, and yes, he might win the fight on the bottom side of the screen, but that's about it. At the same time, losing economy, but killing some on the opposite side, so maybe a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Stefano.
Stefano is doing whatever he can, but he just doesn't have the numbers anymore. These Ravages are very exposed. Reiner is going to click on top of them and get on top of them as all these Ravages will go down, and I think we're looking at the dying moments as Reiner takes a 3-0 lead over France.
We knew it could happen, but yeah, it definitely happened now. Like, it's a 3-0. Stefano was not able to do it, got outclassed by Reiner. And now you go back to that first game, you're like, oh, it would have been so easy if DNS won that one. But now, we're already forced into a revive. And yeah, that's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I mean, you revive DNS here, right?
Depends on the mental state. That's the only thing. Of course, like on paper, I agree with you.
You don't revive Stefano, because Stefano is not going to win. He would technically have to win 2 ZVZs in a row against Reiner. You know that Illy is not the biggest fan of ZVZ. I think you put way too much pressure on young Clem if you would revive Clem here. I mean, Clem is fantastic, but he's also still so young.
Oh, yeah.
Lacks experience compared to Reiner. Neon Violet map, I mean, it's an obvious DNS revive, if you ask me.
No, you're right. Like, I'm just thinking about like the way he lost game 1 and the fact that we always say that is a weak mental player in general. DNS, that is, even though like that could go for Drogo as well, but yeah, DNS has that reputation, so that's why I said that. But yes, in a way, when you're reviving a player while being down 0-3, you want a player that's able to win at least 2 games against the heavy hitter of the other team, but also good enough to beat those other two players. Like, he needs to reverse all kill. That's the only opportunity, so obviously you revive DNS.
Yeah, this is DNS's moment to shine. He's had a couple of fantastic runs online, had a couple of great results. Offline, not truly the most successful player yet, but I feel that everyone, when you talk about DNS, you say, it's a moment of time. Eventually, he will have that extreme breakthrough performance where it's at least the semi-finals at a WCS event or maybe even a final. Like, he's been capable of it. His online results are spectacular. As we've got our countdown, I like the tweet of Emil, by the way, saying that Clem and Raynor's combined age is 30. He's like, I'm getting too old for this game. I think we all are. If you look at Raynor, it's just... Oh,
Raynor is too good, man. Raynor is too good. He's on the verge of all killing France. And let's see, who is it going to be on the shoulders of to avoid it? It's going to be DNS. Okay.
All right, well, this is his moment to shine. His moment to become a French hero, Funka. I mean, Neon Violet Square, once again, I truly stand by what I said before. I think Raynor is spectacular, magnificent, inspiring, fantastic, all across the board. But if there's one thing where I believe he could still get better, it's that ultra late game. Let's say DNS gets up to 4 or 5 bases here. He gets 6, 7 carriers out, plus 2 air weapons, Size Storm. Then I'm more leaning towards DNS, actually. Yeah. I mean, we saw Raynor against Classic as well, where at one point, like, it's so hard to get there against Raynor, don't get me wrong, because he's incredibly good with his army. He's so dynamic. He's all over the place. But if you somehow do get there, Raynor often stays on Hydras a tiny bit too long, doesn't truly believe in, you know, the Viper, Corruptor, Infestor kind of stuff. Exactly.
Yeah, no. And of course, DNS has always been considered as a really macro-oriented player. He always goes into those long game situations, whether it's in PvT or PvZ, or even back then in PvP, he used to love the Colossi Wars and stuff like that. So obviously, on a map like Neon Violet Square, where you've got a pocket expansion, and you can sit on 3 base rather safely before going into like a creeping 4th base, 5th base and everything. Of course, he has the opportunity to go for that late game possibility, but what if Raynor decides to go for like a Nidus?
Yeah, no, I was thinking about it as well. Yeah?
That's what I expect from him. I think that's a good call, like just in general. Try to win right off the bat. Good map to do that on. And maybe DNS will go into something really, really, really greedy that could get beaten by the Nidus play we saw Rog using, for instance.
No, it's absolutely possible. The final match, if this would somehow go to Game 7, is on Eastwatch, by the way, which is not the worst Zerg map out there. Either way, let's get ready for this one, a very important one for everyone here in the Yo Gaming studio. Does this young man ever show mercy? Representing Italy, it's Raynor.
Is a 15-year-old gonna...
That's not the spirit. No, Funka.
Gonna shut down the lights at the Yo Gaming studio? No, he will not.
Okay.
In the top left of Neon Violet Square, representing France, this is our last hope. He is DNS.
I was about to say, you as a proud Frenchman, you can't start off the intro with... like, you're already defeated at that point, Funka. You need to believe. You need to believe in the reverse all kill here.
I do believe. Well, yes, I do believe. I'm trying to convince myself. But yeah, it's looking grim. And I hope that DNS's mental state is in good shape and that he knows that he can beat Raynor, and we know he can. Yeah. We know the entire team can, but for now, it's 3-0 in favor of Italy because Raynor is just so goddamn good. Let's see what he does, what he decides to go for in this game. For now, Gateway Nexus going into a second expansion quickly, as we have something fairly standard from Raynor. Looks like a Stargate positioning to me.
Yeah, Scream Stargate. I mean, it would be crazy to open up with a Twilight here. We saw Neep do it earlier today, but yeah, that was Neep having a very good time.
A field trip.
Yeah, let's see how this game is. Oh, that's very fast. Warp Gate. That's almost like a little bit of a mind game. Now he starts his Stalker as well to deny scouting. So obviously DNS already trying to trick Raynor here. Whatever he does at this point, it's a trick, right? Because normally you don't start off Stalker, Warp Gate before a Stargate. Is it a Twilight? No, it's Stargate.
No, it's going to be a Stargate anyways.
Yeah. But, I mean, I do like it. He's trying to throw him off a little bit by saying, you know what, maybe I'm afraid to play regular. I'm going to do something different here. I'll open up with the Stalker, the very fast Warp Gate. It's minor, but, you know, if you're Raynor right now, you're on edge. You're like, okay, is he playing Stargate? Or do I have to worry about very fast Dark Templars or even Resonating Glaives?
Okay, well played by DNS. We'll get the vision of the cliff with the probe. So that's nice. Perfect execution by him. Cute little probe
Yeah,
helping
supply
out the
blocks him
stalker.
And he also
yeah, that overload hasn't been produced as fast as possible. So yes, that's a pretty long supply block on the side of Rainer. Now gonna go for a perfect wall on that side of the ramp, and we'll just open up the pass towards the fourth or third
And what I
base.
like here is that he's also showing a depth, by the way, which is kind of like, you know, you still don't know if I'm playing Stargate or not. Now I'm showing you an adept. I have denied your scouting. If I'm Rainer here, I'm obviously worried about some of the things that Protoss could potentially pull off.
Yeah.
Pretty fast Overlord speed this game for Rainer. That's obviously going to give him all the scouting information he needs, and if he has any Overlords out on the map and there's a Phoenix behind the Oracle, he should be able to save them. Let's see what DNS can achieve. I mean, the spores are being thrown down regardless. The
Double
links...
Oracle,
okay, good scout with the links.
Yeah, it's interesting that DNS doesn't take much more precaution to try and hide the Oracle as long as possible, but as you said, Rainer didn't take any risk. At least he had a spore in its main base, but didn't have any in the natural. So it could have been better for DNS if he didn't show it. We'll see. We'll see what he achieves with this. Maybe goes for a stasis trap. Not gonna go for anything yet. Maybe gonna wait for the second Oracle though.
Exactly, I think that's what he's doing here. He doesn't want to take too much damage with his first Oracle. Was hoping to maybe find a very exposed drone or a poorly placed spore crawler. He gets his first drone there if he wants to go for it. Perhaps two even. Yes, he does. I mean, that's a semi-decent start.
Yeah, and didn't lose that much energy for it, so still has the opportunity to pounce right back, but might wait for the shields to regenerate on that Oracle. A Robo will be thrown down, as well as the Twilight Council, and goes straight for the Prism though.
Yeah, that's fast.
Yeah.
Is he gonna throw down a few more gateways perhaps? I mean, we've seen a lot of variations from this. This Overlord spots this Twilight though, and he's probably thinking like, and now he sees the Twilight Council being, I meant Templar Archives, and now he sees the Twilight Council being chrono boosted as well. Immediately the Hydra then gets thrown down, but also double Evo. It's 4 extra gates. This is a pretty serious commitment by DNS. And without roaches or banelings, this could actually be pretty hard to deal with.
Okay, let's see how many drones he gets this time. One will fall, and once again, not the perfect micro that you expect. He could have gone a little bit more out of this aggression, and one Oracle takes a lot of damage. Actually, those Oracles are too close from the edge. Even a Queen could go there and try to finish off this one. Okay, now he saved it.
So DNS is really committing to this. He's going to get 2 Archons, then he's going to wipe in a lot of Zealots. Now, Zealots, Archons, very good against Hydras, but it all comes down to positioning. Can Raynor keep his Hydra safe? Can he somehow put them in a corner somewhere behind a mineral line where he can still micro? If those units are backed up against the wall, the Protoss units can really slaughter them. Is DNS still going straight for the main?
I can't believe those Zerglings didn't scout up the Prism. Okay, now he sees it. He will drop the Prism to drop the Archons to get a couple of Zerglings out of the way. But the Idolists are already there. DNS. Okay. I don't think there's anything else that you want to look at this point of the game when you drop your Prism into the main of your opponent. But yeah, nice anticipation from Raynor with those Idolists right away. They were on position without even the upgrade for range. They were there and they were able to fend off that early aggression.
Yeah, so in the end, no Zealots being sacrificed here at all. DNS not going that all out. He's been probing up pretty hard behind this. I mean, already at 58. 58 against 62 is pretty good. Raynor, of course, has a pretty serious army as well, but he's not really finding any openings. Now Psystorm is on the way already. And by the looks of it, like, Raynor is still not droning up. Either he's still worried. I think he's actually thinking about getting aggressive. He already has range. Now he's getting muscular augments. But DNS with his very fast Storm, I actually kind of like that, because all you need is 1 or 2 Storms in the middle of a Hydra pack, and then your Zealots and Archons can get the job done.
Oh yeah, definitely. Storm might be the key in this game against this Link Hydralist. Timing that's coming. You're laughing because I'm standing up.
Yeah, I love it, guys. You guys don't see this, but this passion, I'm feeling it from Fonka. He looks at the production tab, he looks at it, he's like, actually, this is doable, I think. I see hope, I see light at the end of the tunnel.
Let's see, because that timing is coming. At least massive Hydralist production from the Italian player. Already 22 on the way, 22 on the field. Will be 27 at the end of that round of production. For now, Raynor sits down defensively.
Yeah, and he's going back into droning. He's getting a Dropper Lord, so I'm expecting a Lurker then within moments from now on. That's the only thing that would ever make sense here, right? Unless he goes, nah. I feel like Lurkers are his only option.
Yeah, probably. I think he realized that it would be like super dangerous to go there, and yes, he will throw down the lurker then, accepting that this game will go further into late game with a Spire as well. I wonder what he wants to do with that. Is it like an anticipation for Hive player, or does he just need like a couple of Corruptors or Mutalisks to protect against that Prism? We'll see. But that's a nice round of the Zealots. Going directly to the main, maybe you can get the pull, maybe you can get the lair.
I would have maybe gone for the Hydra then here. I feel that's a pretty decent snipe if you can get it, but maybe he feels like, nah, I actually just want to try to save as many of these Zealots as possible. Successful little drop though, doesn't lose much, forces all the drones to back off, didn't kill much, but he pulled the entire army out of position, and I think that DNS looks at his army now, and he looks at Storm, he has cannons in the main already to deal with this potential Hydra drop. I think DNS looks at it like, hey, this is going all right, isn't it?
Yeah,
DNS.
This is going the way I like to play StarCraft. Slow, steady, and only one Hydralisk will get dropped. Let's see how many probes he kills now. Okay, he will get taken down. But the Oracles at the opposite side of the map have been destroyed as well. You need to build one more, I think, to just get those Revelation going.
Did he spot the lurker then? We've got a couple of Mutas, so we've got 7 Mutas being produced. I mean, obviously 7 Mutas is always nice. A, you can shut down the Prism, and B, you can maybe bounce between mineral lines a little bit, force out a couple of cannons. It's 10 Mutas at this point, actually, a few more than I expected. This is a very serious investment by Raynor. If DNS would pick up on these Mutas, I actually think he can just run across the map with his army. I mean, there aren't really any lurkers or static defenses.
12 Mutas in the production tab, that's a lot for Raynor. And that's a massive investment, but he doesn't see it yet. With no Oracle on the map, he can't really get a Revelation going, so he has no idea. But he does have cannons in pretty decent position. Even one Phoenix in the main base, well, next to the main base, using a couple of Storm.
No Stalkers.
And he killed the Cybernetic Squad.
That means no defensive Stalker warp ins. Oh my god. There's only a single Stalker. That means that these Mutas are going to be harder to deal with. That one Phoenix gets sniped immediately as well. I think you need to recall an Archon or two into your main.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do, I think.
What a painful moment to lose your Cybernetic score. I didn't think he realized yet.
He didn't realize it, and now he wants to warp in Stalkers, but he doesn't know that he can't do it. Is he going to go for the counter-attack as he's losing so many probes? That's already 16. And those Immortals, they don't do well against Mutalisks. Templars by themselves, no Storms used, and Italy is crushing France. Oh my god, Roddy, this is such a great game by Raynor once again. That Muta transition caught DNS by surprise, and still no Cybernetic score, still no Stalkers.
Oh, no Cybercore. He's warping in like 10 cannons to potentially buy some time, but I mean, these probes are going to fall as well. It's an absolute massacre of workers at this point. Finally a rebuild on that Cybercore, but that just took way too long, and all of the High Templars that had all the energy, they've been sniped as well. Now the Lurkers, the Hydras, Raynor is going to go for the surround.
And all the Immortals will get demolished, and with this, the hopes of the French count the French nation. I don't think he can go back from that. I don't really think he can. 35 probes went down here. Those Immortals are going to get chased down by the Hydralisk, and DNS will try as much as he can, but he's whopping Zealots against Lurkers. Those Immortals are getting taken down, and I don't think there is any Storms left. 97 supply against 172, with Raynor sitting on 4 bases.
That Muta switch, it really felt that DNS was looking good in this game, like he was in control, but losing all the High Templars, of course, losing the Cybercore. What a brilliant snipe by Raynor.
So
sniping the Cybercore right before his Muta say hello into the main base, and you could just see everything falling apart for DNS, who's still trying to hang in there. He's got some Archons and Immortals. Does he even have an Observer here? I'm not sure.
He's rebuilding one. He sniped the earlier one. That's perfect play from Raynor once again, showing it in every single matchup. He knows what he's doing, and he has the confidence to do it against France. Maybe all killing right there, with the Mutalisks still being alive and active on the map, denying most of the mining from DNS with his 35 probes, barely going up 108 supply.
Unreal. I cannot believe we're watching a 15-year-old Italian Zerg all killing a nation that's traditionally been very, very strong in StarCraft and had a very strong lineup here as well. DNS, of course, refuses to give up. He sees Archons and Immortals. He still wants to try, but deep down inside, I think he knows. Attacking into Lurkers, attacking on creep without Storm, being down 50 army supply. This would be a miracle if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, DNS just well, try to borrow money from any country to get only 2 zealots to actually defend that base. He's so broke, DNS, and now the lurkers will come from every single side. Zerglings and Heidel is crushing every single Archon, and the micro from DNS is good, but he just doesn't have the numbers.
He doesn't have the reinforcements because he lost all of his workers, so he has to win with these units, and it's just not going to be enough. Raynor makes one hell of a statement here.
GG. Oh, damn. That's a hard one.
Yeah, I've got nothing.
I've got nothing either.
No, amazing. Raynor is just
So good.
spectacular. What a young man. I mean, where do you even start? Just defeating 3 top European players in 3 different matchups. An up-and-comer in the name of Clem, a veteran in the name of Stefano, and a very solid European force in the name of DNS twice.
It's terrible, and now I'm getting trolled by production with like a sad music and everything. No, but I just have nothing. Like, Raynor was just too good, and he deserves every single victory, you know? Like, yes, you could argue game 1 was really, really tight, and he had like what we call réussite, which is like basically he had the he had the odds in his favor on just one opportunity that led him to winning the game. But you bring that to yourself, right? You bring that to yourself because you're a good player and because you do what you're supposed to do at the right moment.
Talent,
yeah,
yes.
of course, it is. It is.
So congratulations, Italy, the 4th nation to qualify for next round today. It's been a 3rd all kill of today. I mean, like, it's amazing. So after Netherlands, USA, now Italy has just all killed France, and they've crushed all French fans' hope.
Yeah, we're kind of sad. It's a sad day for French StarCraft.
You think back of the good old days of
Oh my
NationWars
God.
Season 3, where you guys went all the way.
Top 3 in NationWars 2. Top, champions in NationWars 3. Lost in the group stage in round of 16. Well, in the NationWars 4, and now losing in the round of 32.
I'd say Italy has just took their revenge, as last year France won against Italy in Group Poland, and now Raynor has grown up and is such a like he's a champion. I mean, like, not yet, but a future champion, world champion, I think.
Yeah,
like,
I think it makes sense to expect that, and also I'd like to add that last year Raynor was also able to all kill in the round of 32 match against China back then.
Yeah.
So just massive props to the guy. Like, I'm obviously a little bit sad and crushed, and okay, that's I'm sad about that, but there's nothing to be said. He's just playing amazingly. He showed it against 3 super good players, and yes, first game was tough, but the other ones were just a field trip for him.
We saw the scores there as well. You know, I was actually very worried for France. I really thought that Raynor was going to get the job done. I didn't expect him to get the job done on his first try.
Yeah.
You know, starting off himself as well as an absolute little champ that he is. He's
What a
like,
god.
I'll go first. And then he just goes on this winning streak against 3 top players, winning 4 games in a row. Amazing. It's something that, you know, a couple of the European pros that I met in China as well, they said, I actually think that Raynor could do that. And we're like first thinking about it, it's like, yeah, actually, I think it makes sense. And then you watch him play in WSG. He looks so freaking good. He looks so complete in a way already, especially once again with first 15 minutes. The kid is remarkable. He's truly something else. And I honestly think when you talk about the best Zerg players in Europe, we always, of course, say Serral's the best. Serral's still the best, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
and then you talk about Elaser, Nurcho, Snoot. Raynor deserves to be way up there as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And those kind of results actually show that. So props to him. But I think we'll hear him speak at some point.
Yes, interviewer is ready. Rana is here with us to talk about the game. Congratulations! Oh my god, you just all killed France. Tell us how you feel
Thank
right
you.
now. Can you show us like how happy you are over this victory?
I don't know how. I'm really
You can
happy.
say something in Italian. I mean, just show us your joy. I mean, yeah, that smile says it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you have a bigger smile? Is it possible? Like, that's the question. Good job, man. That was
Thank
amazing. Really, that was amazing. I mean, but the only question I'm wondering is like, how hard did you think that game 1 was? Because it looked like DNS was about to break you, and then you got that prism out of the way. How good did it feel? How hard did you think that game was before that?
I think I would have lost if I didn't snipe the prism. But yeah, I got lucky.
It almost felt that final corrosive ball came out of nowhere. It was like the first two hit, and then everyone holds their breath, like, ah! And then you squeeze out that last one. I mean, of course, congratulations, Rainer. Fantastic performance.
Thank you.
We were talking a little bit about it in China, and you kind of told me, he's like, yeah, I think I can do it. I think I can do it. Did you really think you would be able to do it on your first try?
Yeah.
Just like not even, you didn't even need to be revived. You're just like, no, I'll start and I'll just get this over with.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Do you have like a very good record against the French players? I'm sure, obviously, you've played Clem a lot on the ladder. Where did the confidence come from?
I don't know, I practiced a lot, so I think, yeah.
And historically, you do well against them? Do you beat them a lot more than they beat you?
Not a lot, but I think I have a pretty good record against them.
Okay.
Oh, was it your little brother behind, or?
Yeah.
Oh.
How happy is he? Is your family like
he's really
watching the
happy.
game and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's nice.
That's so cool.
I have a question for you. So you're obviously a really young player. So who's your best StarCraft Pro player? Like, do you have a model, a role model, maybe?
Yeah, Sarah.
Oh, that's
Sarah.
awesome. So that obviously leads into the question, what would happen if Italy would draw Finland in the round of 16?
We would win.
Oh! Okay. I would like to ask him maybe a little bit about some of the other nations. Now, you got past France, which obviously is not an easy draw at all in the round of 32. You already know quite a few of the nations in the round of 16 and forward. I'm sure you look at the nations, you know all the players very well. Give us like 2 or 3 nations that you would rather not face too early.
Netherlands, USA, and I don't know, maybe Finland.
Okay.
That's okay.
Didn't say South Korea though.
No, you all killed those as well?
Yeah.
But you know, France beats Korea, Italy beats France, so Italy beats Korea. Like it's rather easy, I think.
Okay, so if you all kill South Korea, I'll be your fan for the rest of my life. Like, I'll be rooting for you like, at every competition.
You know, Reina, I've got one more question. You've obviously been good for a while. I remember your amazing run at Valencia 2016. You know, you're really showing yourself at a big stage for the first time. But I honestly feel that you've taken your game to the next level, if not 2 extra levels. When did this happen? Like, was it somewhere in November or December, January? When did you really start to feel like, damn, I'm not just good, I'm really good?
Maybe after I reached 7K. I don't remember when it was, but yeah, I felt pretty happy about that.
You're like, if I can reach 7K, I can do anything?
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome, man.
How old were you when you started playing StarCraft?
8.
Wow,
Holy hell.
That's actually amazing.
And I thought I started early with StarCraft Brood War, but I wasn't even 8. I was 12, I think. But that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, Rainer, I don't think we have anything else to add than just massive props to you. And
Thank you.
And yeah, I hope we get to see your teammates at some point. Just don't all kill everybody. We would like to see them at some point. And yeah, it looks well. Also, I was mentioning earlier, and then I think Roddy has a question. But, yeah, you already season against China. So, like the setup, the fact that it's online, or because you're representing yourself, enjoy it, and you feel comfortable. It seems like you have no pressure.
Yeah, it's a really good tournament and it's important for me, so I always want to do well.
I would love to hear maybe a final speech in Italian, something for the used to this love of esports. Can't think of many like fantastic RTS players that you guys had, so give us something in Italian for the Italian fans out there and also for yourself as well.
Ok. Grazie a tutti per aver tifato per me.
Okay.
Okay, so congratulations again for moving on to the next stage, and I can't wait to see your next games in the round of 16.
Good night, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy it.
Enjoy. Bye. See you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Oh.
And he stops with the cutest wave and everything. Like, you just go kill my country. I can't like you. It's impossible. No, massive props to the guy. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Haven't seen something like this in quite some time, I think. Of course, you know, and let's not forget that both Neeb and Sarah are still very young as well. You know, he's not the only young player. Of course, in Korea, we've seen it quite a few times. I mean, we all remember Maru. Maru is still tiny and adorable, but he used to be even tinier and adorable than he currently is.
Exactly.
So it's not like we've never seen it before, but you know, this story, I remember when he moved to the pro gaming house in Switzerland, I believe the Mayan
Oh
Sanity
yeah,
house.
the Mayan Sanity house.
Yeah, or in Italy
you're
it
right.
was somewhere. Like, I remember
think it was
reading
in Switzerland.
Yeah, you read about it and people are like, oh, well, like a 13-year-old kid is moving to the pro gaming house. Well, sure. And how often don't you read those titles, but then it's more clickbait, right? Like, oh, look at this beautiful story. But this one, I mean, he just did it to the next level.
It looks like we have a tweet from Marin Lord. So let's just check it. What,
Let's just,
what
you know,
does he have to say?
Feel pain when it.
Not even surprised. Ah, yeah. Okay, me.
What's up with it? Why is he so mean?
I don't know. It's just like it's just that Lord, you know. Like if
baby
you
face
understood
killer.
everything that he said in French, you would see that he's even more brutal in French than he is in English. The face to be afraid of, 4-0 with pizza face with them. That's good.
Okay, so we have now 4 more nations advancing to next stage. So today we had Poland, Netherlands, USA, and now Italy. So let's check out the results. And
4-0, 4-0, 4-0.
we have 3 all kills
4-0.
today. And tomorrow is the last day of round of 32, and we'll have 4 more nations for last spots joining the other nations already qualified. So we have Sweden, Vietnam, Chinese Taipei, Russia, Brazil against Bolivia, and Germany versus Spain. So is there any series that you're looking forward to?
I mean, not really that one stands out in particular. Maybe Chinese Taipei versus Russia.
Yeah,
I actually think the Russian lineup is pretty fun. They've got a couple up-and-comer guys. Obviously, they've got Arctur, the Terran player, who's been quite fun to watch. But you know, Funk, I had a question for you actually. You know,
Tell me.
if you look at our flag, right, the flag of the Netherlands, and you just turn it upside down, it's very, very similar to the French one.
Do you need me to cheer for Netherlands now?
I kind of think that.
Of course I will.
You know, just hop on the winning team.
I will.
Hop on this train right now.
I will, Roddy.
Okay.
I will be for Team Netherlands. So you know, from now on, and I'll try to not cry too much
Harstam
tonight.
was really convincing today, and Netherlands is
Just in
obviously one
general.
of the best lineup in this tournament. Okay, guys, so I hope you really enjoyed today. And even if France has lost, I mean, Reina has really played perfect. I don't know if it's perfect, but like, yeah, it's.
It's perfect.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's all kill, yeah.
He beat DNS twice. There's nothing more.
Yeah.
It's just perfect.
I think the beauty of StarCraft is that there is almost no such thing as a perfect game, but Reina definitely performance
Oh,
today,
yeah.
and that is for sure.
Oh yeah. Do we have anything else?
I don't think so, actually. So maybe just tomorrow we'll start at 2 p.m. Because we have 4 more series to come. And so here's the schedule. So as you said, so 4 other series for tomorrow. And I think we're done.
Yes, we're good to go. 2 p.m., 4 p.m., 6 p.m., and 8 p.m. Obviously, those are expected times because, as you see, sometimes it goes a little bit faster than that. And yeah, especially when there's some 4-0s involved. We'll see about tomorrow, but I would agree with you, Roddy. I think Chinese Taipei versus Russia is a cool matchup coming. Obviously, Brazil, always a fun nation to watch. We'll see what they can do against Bolivia. Diego starting.
And Turkey Dano, he's on the team as well.
Turkey Dano, I like this name.
That's a great name. And of course, I mean, Germany was once again fielding a very strong nation. You know what I just thought of? Imagine how strong Italy would be if Big Gabe, if Big Gabe would join up with Rainer, Hero Marine. He represented Italy at the Extreme Masters.
Exactly what I was about to say, but then I didn't understand the Big Gabe kind of thing because his name is Gabriel, right?
Yep,
yeah.
he's
Hero
Gabriel.
Marine, he's Hero Marine and Rainer. Damn.
Wow.
I would have predicted 4-0 for Italy right off the bat.
All right.
Come on.
Okay, it's the end of day 3 in round of 32 in NationWars 5. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Blizzard. And see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. for the first series in this first week of NationWars. Bye, guys.